I'll just quickly introduce myself. I'm Sarah.
Okay.
I'm the marketing communications specialist at LoadStop, and in the interview I have with me Umar. Umar is with me as my associate, and we're really glad to have you on board. Thank you so much for agreeing to this interview, and we're
My pleasure.
really thrilled to have a chit chat with you.
Hey, how are you, Sarah?
I'm great. How are you, Eric?
I'm all right.
Hi Eric, Omar here.
Hi, Omar. How's it going?
Hope everything is great at your end. How's the weather?
Weather here is nice, a little chilly, but seeing as I'm personally in Monterey, California, it never gets really chilly, so I can't complain. Okay, fire away. I'm here to answer any question I can, and even probably some I can't.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Eric. First of all, I'd like you to introduce yourself and tell our audience about your company, Fleeting Pro, and its scope of operations, and also the kind of customers you're targeting.
Sure. So at Fleeting, we call ourselves the Airbnb of trucking. What we mean by that is that we use technology, including yours, to be able to take underutilized or capacity or folks that are looking at trucking, as an investment who don't have their own trucking companies, and bring their trucks onto our platform. We provide mobile technology to our drivers, an app that they use that helps them to book those trucks like an Airbnb, so that they can live like an owner operator and have flexibility in their schedule and which trucks they're going to drive. And then we pair that with freight and dispatch them and kind of create what we think is sort of the next generation of trucking. Folks who can have the flexibility and earning potential of owner operators without having to buy their own truck and run their own small business.
So, Eric, I understand that you started just last year, but the industry, as you know, is going through a period of turmoil and everybody's talking about a disruption. So, I wanted to know, how does that impact a startup trucking business such as yourself?
It really started in March when the fuel prices jumped. You would think that if fuel prices jump, then rates would go up. But of course, somewhat not counterintuitively, but sort of countercyclically, that resulted in a reduction in the size of the spot market and freight being shipped as everybody waited for fuel prices to go down, which then pushed rejection rates to, unbelievably low numbers because, then people were desperate for freight. Now, we're kind of getting to the other side of that just in terms of the market. We're getting to the other side of that now because a lot of capacity disappeared. A lot of owner operators went out of business. For us, this creates market opportunity. But a lot of owner operators went out of business, a lot of small carriers. I think the filing rate for bankruptcy for being shut down for small carriers, it was the highest ever, I think, in October, the last time that they reported it. So for sure, it very much hurt the industry. Fleeting has some protection from that because, effectively running as a property manager, we take a carry a freight move. So, two things happened for us. One was that, as rates went down, obviously gross revenue per truck on the platform went down accordingly. Our margins are sort of flat for percentage of freight moved, so we weren't quite as exposed. But it also caused some churn because we weren't able to make the kind of profits for the folks on our platform that we used to be able to make because the difference between $2.20 a mile and $3.10 a mile is pretty huge. How we were able to leverage LoadStop, so fortunately for us, we've been automated from the door. Like our company started. We weren't like a trucking company that then implemented a TMS. We started with you. We built our mobile app integrated with you. We integrated our systems with you. So as a result, we've been able to run very lean internally, which helps us to make margins off of, like be able to be, make money off of the relatively small margins that we charge because we're able to be lean and, not have to have, we're able to use outsourced dispatchers who enter the data. We're able to track, where the trucks are. We're able to, again, use tech to dispatch and keep our staff down. We do a lot of stuff with very few people. And that's leveraging our systems integrated with your systems. And then one of the things that we really appreciate is how at LoadStop you consider, and it's probably the best thing about the product is it's clear it's written by people who understand trucking. I mean, I know one of the founders ran a trucking company himself. And so like all the stuff that you want is there, right? So I mean, it's integrated from the door with our ELD, and it develops milestones, and it tries to be intuitive, and it does things that help us again be able to scale relatively well on the manpower side, so that it's not our ratio of truck to dispatcher, or truck to staff member is very low. And so that's what lets us charge a relatively low margin to the truck owner, right? Which is less than typically it would cost them to staff up themselves and run a small fleet with like 2 or 3 trucks on it.
Well, thank you so much, Eric. It's good to hear that our product could provide you immunity to all the uncertainty that is going on. So I wanted to ask that you must have considered a lot of other options when you were considering a new system for your newly founded company. I wanted to know why you chose LoadStop over the others, and how did you discover us?
There were a few. I don't want to do a just in fairness, I don't want to do like a comparative analysis on the call. But what I will say is that the reason that we chose LoadStop, for the same reason, is that it was clearly written by someone in the industry, and all of the things that you needed were there, right? Like it was really sort of soup to nuts, right? In terms of right, because we were actually doing a buy build analysis at the beginning, and we're like, well, what do we actually have to build? And what we ended up having to build implementing LoadStop that was specific to us was much less than we expected, because so many things were there.
Thank you so much for uh, for all your words, and we're really glad that LoadStop has been making a huge difference to your business, since we are offering a complete extensive list of features such as dispatch management, there's load tracking. Is there any feature that you'd like to discuss or highlight?
I mean, the first thing that I would like to highlight is just the number of deep integrations that you guys, right? I mean, you recognize from the beginning that in order for this to work, it needed to work with all sort of the major things out there, right? Whether it was ELDs or personnel or QuickBooks, right? I mean, you did a good job from the beginning of thinking that stuff through, so that systems could plug in and sort of be useful. The part of the system that gets the most use on our end is really like dispatching through invoicing. We don't really use the booking piece so much, but it's really sort of dispatching through invoicing, and being able to so in our case, for example, we're able to get the information in, and then we're able to use that to send to our mobile app, and then the folks from the mobile app are able to, and that's a custom mobile app we built, so we're grateful for your team helping to expose those APIs. I think we were the first people that got you to do that. Being able to use that to sort of update statuses and track milestones, and upload BOLs sort of directly to reduce intervention, manage invoicing with a push of a button, and it goes to the factoring company, and again, just all that back office stuff, being able to manage it with so few people, because all of the pieces of it are just well thought through, and provide you like lots of information in a really simple workflow.
Thank you, Eric. And since we are talking about the integrations, I would like to dwell on that a little. In terms of that, do you think LoadStop is, when connected, you get the entire workflows within our system, everything that you need?
From dispatch to the end is definitely an end-to-end solution for us, for sure. Say, for example, where we use Samsara, pre-trip and post-trip inspections, and some stuff, that maybe could be added in some way, around compliance, not compliance at the truck level, but compliance, say, at the driver level, or the individual load level. But everything related to the load itself, we're doing end-to-end through your system, and we don't have to look at anything else. And there's probably some stuff that you have that we just don't know exists that we could probably use too, quite frankly. So
Please, we would love you to explore all the features.
yeah, we're in the process now of really standing up your compliance module. So we're looking forward to that, and around sort of the trucks and compliance, because we have that. So we're looking forward to that, because we've been tracking too much of that stuff sort of external, and it's all there. We just haven't really implemented it.
Wonderful. That's wonderful, Eric. Is it possible if you can share any stats or metrics that demonstrate the impact LoadStop has had on your business? Like, for instance, how LoadStop is really adding value to your business.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always leery to share, in an interview, like specific financials and stuff, just because I'm generally under orders not to. What I can say is that our truck utilization numbers have gone up. Keep the truck on the road, minimize the time between drop-offs and sort of picking up the next load by looking at some of that predictive stuff. And I think that we were able to increase from what we projected. It's a little hard because we were never without you. So it's not like we can say, okay, well, before LoadStop we did this, and after LoadStop we did this, right? But in general, our numbers have been somewhere between 12 and 15% higher of what we projected for truck utilization, based
Okay.
on sort of industry standards in terms of, being able to keep the truck on the road delivering freight and, minimizing downtime. And so, I mean, that's a metric I would point to by using sort of an integrated TMS like this, because, you really have that view, right? And you can get out ahead of stuff, right? You can, be sourcing the next, load, or, putting the routes together, and then, getting sort of a good view of things, so that if something goes sideways, it's okay, well, how are we going to do this? Well, gosh, we don't want to cancel this one, but let's run this person over here and he'll be 3 hours later. And like sort of getting that information and being able to look at it not just from the context of where's the truck, but attached to all of the information specific to each load and the delivery times, and who's the broker and who do we need to call, and sort of having all that stuff in a single view helps us be a lot more useful from the perspective of maximizing the truck's time on the road.
Okay, that's wonderful. Actually, we really wanted to get some, statistics from you, and we are glad that even 12 to 15% is also a very good number. Okay, so Eric, since a good software is known for its ease of use, the flexibility that it offers, and the customer support, how would you rate LoadStops in regard of the ease of use, its customer support, and as well as flexibility?
Where it's at now, I would rate very high. It's been some growing pains along the way. I know you guys have been through a lot of iterations, and I think where it's at now is in a good place. We appreciate is that you've listened to customer feedback along the way, and you're constantly iterating and putting out new releases and making improvements. And I think where it's at now is good, and I think where your support team is good. If I had one request that I would make publicly, it's that when we need developer support, we could probably get that turn around a little bit more quick. I know your developers are busy, and we're just one client, but the fact that when we do get to speak to folks in development, they are really knowledgeable and they help us get to where we need to get to, and you have a super sharp team, and we like working with them a lot.
We'll definitely keep this request in mind and try to work on it.
Yeah, we appreciate, right? I mean, we're one customer of many, and obviously we're far from the largest customer, so we're sort of grateful, for the help that we get. And I don't mean that sort of in a disparaging way. It's just, if we could, occasionally we wish we were a little higher in queue when we're trying to do something on our end with our developers, but we understand that you're maintaining the whole product, not just us. So we're grateful for the help that we do get.
Thank you so much, Eric, and we hope we'll continue, offering the same kind of support to you in the future as well. Looking ahead, what do you see as the future of your company, Fleeting Pro, and its partnership with LoadStop? Since it's been a year, we've been working with you.
Where we're moving to is, something more sophisticated around, algorithms and, use of AI to be able to partner or pair freight with trucks before the driver comes in, and then offering, the driver essentially a load and an earning, like a route and earnings, as opposed to they've booked the truck. And, now we're pairing it with freight, so when we do that, because you again have built a relatively open system, we'll be able to use APIs, create freight in dispatch, right, from those external data warehouses, and then still be able to use all the tracking and things that we would normally do, without, right. So because it's an open system, it's going to give us the flexibility when we are successful at doing that, of not really having to change any of our back office systems. And that's amazing, right? Because initially when we were looking at it, we're like, oh, well, we're going to work this way, and then later we're going to have to work that way, and what are we going to have to rebuild? And the answer is nothing, because you guys have sort of thought that through in terms of what people might like to do with your system. Not only is the folks, developing the system, really, cognizant of trucking as an industry, but your tech folks are, also aware how people might like to use your product. And, like I said, they're building not just integrations, but extensibility. And I think that's huge because, like I said, we don't have a version 2 problem. We don't have any plans to migrate. We just have plans to build a different level of integration with you over time.
So, Eric, before we sign off, and since we are talking about future planning, we have a module for that as well for future planning. That is our reporting and analytics part of the system. So, I want you to know that if you're using that system for future planning, for future remodeling of your business.
So the answer to your question is all of the reporting and data, hard data that's there, the dashboard, the, screen on the dashboard that lets you look at the prior months, the settlements and being able to look at the history, all of that stuff is fantastic. I do know that at some point you changed your reporting engine and we're using sort of more of an integrated, looks like more of an integrated third-party solution in your reporting. We haven't utilized it that much because we've struggled a little bit in figuring it out.
And what about our system scalability? Is the system coping up with your growth?
Yeah, 100%. We haven't begun to tap the headroom, and like I said, there's tons of features we have left to implement. As we grow, that will help us, keep our staff lean and still get them, still manage to have all the information we need. So absolutely.
So, with that, we come to an end of the
Okay.
interview. We're really grateful for having you on board, and it was a lovely. It was lovely catching up on you about our product, and we hope we'll continue offering you the same kind of service and support as we're doing right now, and try to improve as much as we can.
Look, it's a great product. I've recommended it to others. I know at least one company, I believe, that implemented it. Because we gave them recommendation. I can't. Even for the little things that I'm tweaking you on, I can't really speak highly enough about it. And we were grateful to have found you and really helped our business and really helped to keep our internal development costs down for all the things that you had and for all the extensibility and integrations that were available from the door. So highly recommended, and you can quote me on that.
Yes, we'd definitely be doing that. We'd be quoting you. Thank you so much, Eric. It was nice
You
talking
got
to
it.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Eric.